What is the biggest barrier to entry for VR? It's probably the cost, lack of compelling software, shifts in general consumer interest, but besides all of those things, the biggest barrier to entry is probably how big VR is, size-wise. I've tried out some of the world's most advanced VR headsets at all levels, and one thing I've noticed is these things just keep getting bigger and bigger the more advanced they get. Very few companies are even trying to make super small form factor VR headsets, even though there is a market for it. However, some companies are. This is the Arpara 5K, currently the smallest SteamVR capable VR headset in production, making the current frontrunners of the VR headset market look like massive beasts. And using this thing, I feel like I'm touching the near future of VR technology. The size and form factor are so good, but there is also a lot wrong here. And I'm hoping Arpara is listening here because this is something really special. And I feel like I'm only iterations away from ditching my 3-year-old Valve Index to use something like this. So why am I not switching now? Well, here goes. The Arpara 5K is an interesting device and pretty impressive specs-wise. Super light at only 200 grams without the cable. It's one of the first VR headsets in the world that I've had in my possession to utilize Micro Oled displays, running at a resolution of 2560 by 2560 per eye, which kills the competition. Holds a max refresh rate of 120 Hz, has a wide enough field of view, manual IPD adjustment, diopter adjustment. On paper, this thing is spectacular and something I've dreamed of. But specs on paper don't tell the whole story. A VR headset isn't just resolutions and technology, it's an amalgamation of tracking technology, comfort, software, etc. And we'll get onto tracking and comfort soon. First, let's just talk about what's amazing about the Arpara 5K and what really sets it apart. I want to emphasize the importance of this headset's crown jewel, the displays. So to put things very simply, these past few years, there has been a massive shift in VR optic technology. The first wave of consumer VR headsets in 2016 all contained OLED displays, while basically 2019 on, the entire industry shifted to LCD displays. OLEDs have a far better contrast ratio, better colors, are more power efficient, but LCDs have the benefit of far cheaper fast switch displays in a more favorable pixel arrangement. The industry basically traded true blacks and better colors for faster refresh rates and no more screen door effect. A dark room or environment in an older OLED headset looks dark like it should, but it has screen door effect. That same environment in an LCD headset looks gray, but it's a lot clearer. And this is where the Arpara 5K is its absolute strongest. Utilizing brand new Micro OLED displays, it has all the benefits of OLED and LCD, completely eliminating screen door effect entirely, increasing the resolution, enabling high refresh rates, true blacks and better colors, all in a really small form factor. And this right here is the first Micro OLED VR headset to hit production. Likely the very first in the next shift in VR display technology. And now that that importance has been stressed, I can talk about how good it actually is. It's almost like seeing VR all over again. I have been so used to the Index and Quest 2 where everything looks gray where it should look black. And visiting my favorite VR chat worlds, hopping into Boneworks, Beat Saber, Half-Life Alyx feels like I'm in a familiar place, yet an unfamiliar place. The whole atmosphere is far closer to where it's supposed to be, and everything just feels different. Colors are really vibrant, and the deep black of space is actually, black. It's very immersive, and I don't think I quite expected a shift in contrast ratio and resolution to result in legitimately getting more immersed in VR, but it did. And I learned horror games are a lot scarier when you turn the lights out. But it's not perfect. Actually, it's very, very far from perfect. And here's where everything starts falling apart. The resolution is fantastic and the displays are super clear if you can get Arpara's Diopter Adjustment perfect. The Arpara uses pancake lenses, which are fine, but also on those pancake lenses are Diopter Adjusters. By adjusting this dial, you can change the focus of the lenses without needing any contact lenses or corrective glasses. The diopters take the place of a prescription. And that sounds sounds amazing on paper if it worked properly all the time. And turns out it doesn't. You twist a dial to change the focus, but getting the focus exactly right all of the time is nearly impossible, leading to your image being blurry most of the time in some way. Plus, if the diopter adjustments are wrong, which it will almost always be slightly incorrect, that's essentially the exact same thing as looking through glasses with the wrong prescription. It's really bad for your eyesight short-term and long-term, actually dangerous. You may think you have the correct diopter settings, but it's actually a few % off. Your eyes and brain will self-correct to the wrong diopter, resulting in eye strain in and out of VR, and I don't think this is mentioned enough for this sort of optic. It's hard to get exactly right, and it's even harder to stay right there. But that's not all. The headset itself is solid enough. It's kind of a brick.
The mic sounds okay. I mean, better than a Vive or Vive Pro 2.
It does have built-in audio through the head strap, but you're really going to want to use headphones with the jack. However, everything else just feels like such an afterthought, like tracking. A base fundamental of a VR headset in 2022 is that it needs good tracking, like spectacular tracking. You can't mess up that at all. And stock out of the box, the Arpara is expected to be tracked with the bane of all modern tracking existence, no-low tracking. 180-degree tracking, these terrible controllers. Look, last time I gave no-low a solid go, I actually got motion sick for one of the first times in VR. Luckily, I don't have to use no-low with the Arpara. Arpara wisened up and realized that for modern headset tracking, you either do camera tracking or you do SteamVR laser tracking. There are no other good alternatives, at least not in the consumer market. So, Arpara has developed the Arpara Tracker, a SteamVR tracking module add-on, allowing you to use full base station tracking and turn this into, like I said, the smallest SteamVR tracked headset out there. And it works actually really great, besides it falling off constantly and occasionally disconnecting. And this is what I mean by everything feeling like an afterthought, but it just keeps adding up, like your eyes. Well, I mean, technically it fits everybody. Tracking, no-low sucks, but hey, we have this. And it sort of works as long as you don't move too fast. You've got a cloth strap and this upgraded strap that doesn't stay on the headset or your head at all because of bad manufacturing. Facial interface is probably one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever put on my face. The tether is way too short, the brightness is way too low, why is everything green, why does your software suck, why am I staring at my desktop when I should be looking at VR chat anime girls? Wait, hold up. I can fix this. The SteamVR tracking on the tracker is perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with it. It just falls off and I can fix that. The diopter settings constantly fall out of what I was prescribed. I can fix that. The cable length is too short. I have another cable. I can fix that. Brightness is too low and everything has a weird green tint. One firmware update and Arpara sort of fixed that. I mentioned to Arpara that the facial interface is the worst thing to ever grace my face, and turns out Arpara knew and they made an upgraded one and are instead shipping all future headsets with that facial interface and upgrading all existing interfaces. And it was when I accidentally sat in No Man's Sky for more than an hour after all of my fixes with the initial intention of just recording 15 minutes of gameplay footage for this video that I realized, hey, this isn't so bad. Actually, I like this. This is enjoyable. It's not perfect and this headset has a lot of shortcomings, but all of the shortcomings should be incredibly easy to fix. They are a lack of attention to detail or maybe a lack of experience. But I'm telling you right now, fix these things, Arpara, and you have a solid headset, like a very solid headset that I would legit use, and I want the Arpara to be a solid headset. It's $700, which is expensive, but in the grand scheme of things, it's only a little more expensive than an Index. And I want to point something out that's kind of important here. Right now, can you think of any other company that is or will be selling any headset like this or has announced something like this? A super small form factor, really high resolution Micro Oled SteamVR base station tracked headset. This is kind of a dream and I could be as hard on it as I want, but shit, this is kind of what I asked for. It's just not nearly as good as I want. But I can at least give credit to Arpara for trying, and I'll do my part to state where my grievances are. Just get rid of no-low, bake the SteamVR tracker onto the headset from the factory, cutting down on weight, wires, and and parts, stress the importance of knowing and properly setting your diopter settings so that things can actually be clear and you're not killing people's eyes, make a better facial interface, and really focus on making a baller head strap. There's no point in having a VR headset that doesn't stay on your head, and give people a proper length cable from the box, because I'll be real guys, beyond all of the shortcomings, I enjoyed my time using the Arpara once I fixed everything for them. I sat in No Man's Sky and VR chat pretty awestruck, to be honest, because everything was super vivid. Blacks were deep and dark and mysterious, colors popped, and I saw myself being able to use this headset for a long period of time. Micro OLED is where it's at, and this sort of form factor, tiny super light VR headsets, is where PCVR needs to be. But in all my time using this headset, can I really recommend the Arpara? Sort of. If they fix a lot of things, everything I just mentioned, or you don't mind fixing it for them like I did and you have money to spare, the Arpara 5K Micro OLED with the SteamVR tracker is a plenty usable headset. It works, and it works pretty well, and it's actually pretty great in terms of visuals and weight and size and tracking, but like I said, it's not perfect, and there's a lot to be improved on. I can give a lot of credit to Arpara for doing the thing that nobody else is doing, and I want to see this headset become the best it can be. And while I can't recommend this over an Index now, I mean, I'm still using an Index is what I'm saying. If everything was fixed and a much better microphone was integrated and better SteamVR stability was thrown in, I'd be seriously thinking about which headset I'd be daily driving. But I did want to mention something, and here's some insider information for, I guess, everybody. I can't say who it's coming from or when or exact details, but this type of headset, except way better, is coming, and it's not from who you think it is. It's real, and it's coming. I've even tried it. Micro OLED technology in this form factor is exactly the sort of thing that I want in a premium PCVR headset, and with the Arpara, we're like 80% of the way there. It's just all attention to detail now. We have the technology, we have the headset, it's viable to be sold to consumers. Here's proof. Now, the competition is on to see who can make the best one, because so far, besides a $7,000 Vario, nothing really comes close to visual clarity like this. It's crystal clear, gorgeous, small, and light, and even if the overall form factor of a headset doesn't get smaller, it leaves a lot of room for other technology to be thrown in that we've been waiting for to come to a PC, like face tracking and eye tracking. So, I guess I'll wait and see if Arpara fixes some of these things, and if they do a massive overhaul, I'll definitely revisit it, and maybe I'll even use the Arpara occasionally at home. I enjoyed using it after making all of my adjustments with a hot glue gun, and if you're that kind of person, maybe you'll like it too. Just know it's not perfect. Amazing in some ways, but flawed in others. Hopefully you enjoyed this one, and I'll try and stream with the Arpara as soon as I can. Just follow my Twitch channel if you'd like to see that, and if you want to talk outside of Twitch regarding the Arpara, then join my Discord or comment down below. Other than that, I'd like to thank my Patreons. I couldn't do any of this without you, especially my Omegas. Don't forget to like this video if you loved it, subscribe if you want more of this, and hit that freaking bell if you just can't live without it. Much love, Drill out.